There you go. Thank you, Jaren. Hey, that was the first time we've actually really did it the right way, Jen, I think.
That was
All
great.
right. Yeah, it was awesome. So, welcome back to the S.L.I.D.E podcast. I am your host, Coach Aaron, and Coach Jen is joining us tonight. So, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing really well. School is in full swing. Weather's cooling off. So I'm a happy
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about
That's
you? How you
awesome.
doing?
I'm doing good. Jace has had 2 practices and pads so far. And last night he got his first real hit where he hit another kid and tall kid too. And he came over to the sidelines to get some water at that time, and he was like, "Now I like that." And I was like, "Yes, yes." I was like, "I told you." The
You
first
got
two
him.
practices we showed up, and he was like, "Dad, I'm kind of nervous," and I'm like, "It's okay. I'm nervous too for you." I was like, but it's okay. Like, go out there, get your first hit out of the way. Go hit someone, let them, run the middle of the play, be the first person up when a coach asks for volunteers, get it out of the way, and you'll be fine. And it was, listen, when he put that hit on that bigger kid and took him down, I was like, on mute. I was on mute on the sidelines going, yeah, yeah. But I wasn't making any noise though. So it was like very funny.
I can imagine. And do you have him drinking protein shakes at night? You got to put a little bit of weight on that kid.
I know. I got to figure out something. I mean, he eats, but
I'm sure he does.
I don't know. Now I'm gonna tell you, he's cut for an 8
Yeah.
year old that probably weighs 55 pounds, maybe wet. He's cut, and I think we've talked about this on the show, but like he's shown out before doing his push ups and stuff, and yeah, he's at least enjoying it at the moment. So
I love it.
and
That's
it's
good.
more and honestly it's more passion than I ever saw on the on the baseball field. Like he never came over even after hitting I think that his last few games he hit a ball like probably like 10 feet from the fence, and like even then he didn't like have that like smile of accomplishment really on his face. And
Yeah.
so I saw something different in him last night. So we'll see. I'm listening to all these coaches and players that we've talked to and said, do this multi-sport thing and
Yep.
might find a diamond out there. So anyway, so we went to Myrtle Beach a few weeks ago. Do you remember that?
I vividly remember our car ride. I was like white knuckling it the whole time with Aaron
Oh my
driving. I'm
gosh.
just kidding. I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
because if my wife listens to this, she's gonna smack me.
No, no, that's
now,
not true, Katie. Katie Pridmore, that's not true. I'm
now there was
lying.
one time we both about on our way
Yeah.
home. We both like jumped, but it's
I was
okay.
like,
We
I
had
was like,
fun.
is he gonna hit the brakes anytime soon? No,
I
I'm just
know.
kidding. It was fine. It
And
was fine. And
we
it,
went to Bucky's. Your first time to
yeah,
Bucky's.
twice.
Yes.
So funny story. We went on the way down there, and on the way down, we passed the Clemson football bus.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I wonder where the football team's going. But they don't only take one bus. Usually they have to take like multiple buses. So anyway, conversation passes. We stop at Bucky's, and here walks in the Clemson women's soccer team. And I was like, oh, that's the bus. And
Yeah.
so we went outside, and I took a picture in front of it like this and sent it to all my friends. So that was pretty neat.
That was cool. Because at first it was like, is this the softball team walking in? But
Yeah.
then we saw their shirts and it said soccer. So that
Yeah.
was
They were
cool.
playing at UNC Wilmington, I
I
think
think it
that
was.
next
Yeah, it was on
day.
the
Yeah.
coast. Yeah.
Yep. So that
So
was
then we
neat
went
too.
on to Myrtle Beach and we got to hang out with a bunch of baseball players and coaches and the baseball youth guys, Tabor, Brady, Alicia, all those guys down from baseball youth, softball youth, and the parent company, athletics. And we had a ball. So we talked to
We did.
some unbelievable kids, mature, responsible, like
Humble.
very, very humble. Great team players. And this is a tournament as well where these kids are showing up from all over the country and they're assigned a team. So they're playing for different coaches, they're playing with different teammates. And, I expected to hear like, yeah, I was a little uncomfortable. I wasn't like super happy to come. And we heard that from no one. Like everyone looked forward to it. And honestly, like Ava and Maddie, that we talked to, you would have thought they'd known each other for the last 10 years. So
Yeah.
some really cool stuff. So we get home, and then I get a message the night after, and it's from today's guest. So Jamaal Lowry, how are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. So you guys were at the tournament in Myrtle Beach. And I honestly, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing you guys walk around doing something, passing by. But I'm going to tell you, your message that you sent us that night it made all of this worthwhile. So thank you guys and welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. And I'll tell you, Aaron and Jenn, you guys do an amazing job. This is my daily dose in the morning, my car ride to work. Every morning, listen to an episode, and you guys are doing it for the right reason. So that's why I'll continue to listen. It's all about the youth. So, and the youth's got to be involved everywhere.
They do. Because honestly, if we really care about our future, we can't forget about them. So,
right.
Well, and you're not by yourself. So who do you got there with you?
This is my 10-year-old son, Jaren.
Jaren, how are you doing, sir?
Good.
Good, dude. All right, now I bet you talk a lot if we didn't have this camera on you. So, like, here's a challenge. Let's count how many times you give us a one-word answer. All right, and we got it. What we don't want is we want like a sentence. So you're back in school, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk sentences and what is it, ELA today? I think it's called ELA.
Yep.
It was just English back then, but we're going to talk ELA today. So you got to give us a sentence for every answer at least. Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. So Jamaal, man. So,
yes, sir.
All right. First of all, you guys, you're in Myrtle. Tell us where you guys are from. Cambridge, Ohio, right?
Yeah, we're from Cambridge, Ohio. It's about an hour and a half southeast Ohio from Columbus, Ohio.
Another Buckeye fan
yes,
on
sir.
the show. He definitely told us before we started recording where he was from and that he's an Ohio State fan. And
he made that very clear from the beginning.
Hey, but you know what? He had listened to enough shows to know that I was a Hurricane fan. So that was pretty cool. All right, man. So let's talk a little bit about like you. And because you've got a little bit of background in baseball yourself, and you got a career in baseball. So tell us about what you got going on, where you come from.
Yeah, so basically born and raised in Cambridge, Ohio. I'm the head varsity baseball coach here at our local high school. I also coach my son's 10U youth travel team. And you talk about juggling those two. You go from high school kids to 10-year-olds. And it is absolutely incredible how you have to transition into the two. But it's fun. It's fun because our 10U is a bunch of kids that love the game of baseball. They want to be there. They're doing the right things. They come out to the high school games and watch the older kids. They're right beside the dugout every game. And then when we get done, you'll see them on the field. They're out in the huddle with the guys, just interacting. So to have those roles and the impact on the younger guys, being out there with the older guys, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Jaren, how is it having your dad the head coach? We're going to go back to him, and I got a bunch of questions about what he just said, but I just got to ask you, how is it with dad being the coach?
It's been fun. I've been having fun for a couple years and stuff.
Is he hard on you though? Does he take it a little bit harder on you than he does everyone else, or is he pretty fair? Fair. All right, there's one. So, but I think I asked you sort of a one word type question, so we won't count that one. So, all right, well that's cool. So on the ride home, because this is Jen and I's our question we always ask when we got a father and son duo is like, what's the ride home like? Are you talking baseball about everything that you did wrong? Or are you just chilling out listening to some music?
We're just chilling out.
Chilling out? All right. Very cool. Well, you know what? I think honestly, that's what I've heard is the best. Like, just throw baseball out of your mind there on that ride home, and then because you can always pick it up and talk about it the next day if you need to. So, all right, Jamaal. So, ton of information there, Jaren. We're gonna come back to you in a little bit, so be ready. All right, you got through that one. You got sentences with all that one, so good start. So Jamaal, like, you're coaching high school kids, you're coaching travel ball, you coached a 9U team as well.
Yep.
Like, what's the transition like you have to make mentally to go from, a high school practice to a travel ball practice of a 10U?
Yeah, so it is. It's tough because you're teaching the high school kids way more advanced stuff,
Right.
and then you simplify it for the 10U. So to kind of not make them overthink at 10U and just put it in terms that they're going to understand, that's the hardest part because I'm so used to coaching these high school kids and using my terminology. But for what I'm trying to do is have the same terminology for everything. So it's basically a feeder. So by the time they get to me in high school, they know exactly what I'm talking about and how to do it. And our biggest thing when it comes to going from high school to the little kids is I implement base running. Base running at 10U is very important. Base running at high school is very important because we all know you might have two dogs that can throw it really, really well, but you have to take advantage on the balls in the dirt, reading that in the dirt, getting second base, getting in score position, play a little bit of small ball, and get that run against a guy that's throwing 65, 70 miles per hour.
All right. What you just said there remind me of S.L.I.D. Cruz. Did
Yes.
I pronounce his name right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Because I normally just call him Ellie on the show, but I'm getting a little bit more confident. That dude, like, he's not going to be thrown out. Like,
No.
and I hope every kid is like watching him because when you talk about base running, like, that dude's got a motor and he don't stop. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and and it's, when's the last time you've seen a major league player take bases like that?
Yeah.
It took me back to my childhood. I'm like, holy smokes, this guy just stole home. He stole home. Like, I felt like the Sandlot scene when Benny the Jet stole home. And I'm just like, holy smokes, he just stole home. And then a couple weeks later, you had Tatis do the same thing.
Yep, I saw that one. I just saw that one today, actually.
And it's all it was the pitcher got it, put his head down. Next thing you know, Tatis is sliding in home.
Well, that's
So
just
it's just
awareness.
taking advantage.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, it's being present, being aware, knowing what the opportunity is. And honestly, like you said, I think it takes me back to my childhood too, because as I'm growing up, I'm an A's fan. Watching the Bash Brothers, the A's had Ricky Henderson, and as a leadoff hitter, like the number one, like I don't think anybody will ever beat his stolen base record.
Right.
But I mean, he was electric. Like,
yeah,
it could get over the fence, or he can get a walk and end up home. So
absolutely, one of my greatest images growing up is him holding that base over his head.
Yeah, he did.
It was incredible.
That was it. So, you know what, Jen, I'm gonna let you go because I got a lot of questions, so I won't.
Well, that's okay. This is a good little segue into. We just had our coaches meeting for the fall rec league. So a question came up specifically about this for 10 and under baseball. So regionally, you guys are in a different region than we are. So I'd be interested to see how you guys handle this. So the question was, can you pick off if there's a batter in the box and there's a runner on third? Can you pick off the runner on third? And the argument is, well, on a pass ball or a wild pitch, no, because it discourages the catcher. It discourages the pitcher. Like, just leave them on third. All right. So then the next question is, well, can I pick them off? Can we run a pickoff play? Because if they can only advance on a batted ball, then that would say you can try to pick them off, but then are they able to score if there's an overthrow? So I'd never really thought of it before because it's different than softball,
right?
Because there's no pitcher throwing it to third base.
Jamal, I hope you
And that,
understand all
that's the
this stuff
difference.
she's saying. Because
I'm taking it all in. I'm ready.
This is like
You
who's
got
on
it?
third,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
on second.
Yeah.
All right. So in your 10 and under leagues at
Yep.
home, is your catcher allowed to pick off a runner at third?
We played both ways. So when we got into travel, we
Mhm.
could.
So
When
that's
we got
different.
it,
Yeah.
yep. So when we got in a rec, it was, what are we trying to teach them
Hmm.
if they do make that big off? 9 times out of 10, if a guy's on third, we're wanting to keep him at third. Unless, because so now you've got this catcher thinking he's 10 years old. The kid's 2 feet off the base and he overthrows the third baseman. The guy now scores. So we do not. You can't pick off anybody at third. And I'll tell you something else. We can't even lead off in rec league. Now, when you get to 50-70, which is your 11 through 13, you can lead off. You can do every pitch to every base, and the catcher can throw the guy.
You know what?
Off.
You may be right about
think
that.
that's
You might not
ours.
be able to lead off until the catcher gets the ball. Is that
Correct.
what it is? Until it hits the
it
catcher's
crosses
mitt.
the plate. Yep. Until it
Okay.
crosses the plate.
Yeah, you
and
may
then,
be right about that.
And we call it the cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
So when you have that guy at third, he's halfway down the line trying to bait the catcher. 9 times out of 10, you'll see the catcher just running back. The pitcher goes, stands at home plate, so someone's covering.
Yeah.
Which you can have a guy standing out there forever. Now,
Yep.
if he's standing out there and he commits back to the base, it's a dead ball.
He's got to go back.
Yep, he can't. He can't advance after that or anything. So it's. Do I like it at that age? Yes and no, because if you got a good catcher, and obviously you're going to at that age, because once the ball crosses the plate, they're stealing. So hopefully your catcher can throw the ball at least second. That's just part of the baseball. It's part of baseball. So once you get into travel, it's a whole new monster. Because these kids and rec, you're playing no leadoffs, and travel, you're playing leadoffs, pickoffs. So you got kids that are a little bit more advanced than your rec kids once it comes to that point. And then they'll adapt and catch on once you play in more travel ball tournaments. But it was a eye-opening thing for us this year.
Yeah. So I think we do it the same way around here. It sounds like rec league is more instructional.
Yep.
You're trying to teach them a proper lead off. Like, no, you don't get halfway down the baseline. You're just no, you're not going to do that. And then also teaching the pitcher at that point, to look them back, come together properly without a bunch of distraction. Like, so yeah, no, I agree with that for 10 and under. And then again, with travel ball, it's different. So it's the rules can be a little more advanced.
All right, I got a devil's advocate here.
Okay.
So if rec league, and I totally understand where you guys are coming from, with it being a more developmental and more about the teaching, but didn't that answer our question as to why at an 8U, 10U we start to see more kids go to travel ball, and why rec league's dying?
And that's a really good question, because I think that is because you got these kids that are in rec ball, and I'd say a handful of those kids really know the game of baseball, are wanting to be engaged with the game of baseball. Right. And then the other kids are blowing bubbles in the outfield, things like that, and
building sandcastles.
And once you get to that point, you do start seeing some of the better kids starting to leave league and going straight travel, and then you might see them again come junior high, or you might not see them at all, because whoever they're traveling with always finds a way to keep that kid wherever it could be, anywhere local to somewhere that their kids are moving. So they're moving to where their buddies are playing.
Yeah. I'm curious, if anybody out there's listening and your rec league is rolling full steam, up to the ages of probably 12U, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you guys are doing to keep your attendance up through the 12U. And, honestly, how can we share it throughout the country? Because, I'm watching the League World Series. These kids are ballers, but in a lot of cases, these are travel ball kids that are united to go play in Little League tournaments. But I'd be interested to know if your rec league is very successful, like what is it? And come on and talk to us about it. So, but that's an interesting point, though.
Yeah,
Jen, how do you like being commissioner? Is it getting any better?
It's always a big challenge about this time because little Johnny, I'm softball commissioner, so little Jane doesn't want to be on Coach Jen's team. She thought she was going to be on Coach whoever's team. And can we switch them? And thankfully, myself and the other commissioners and the athletic director came together during that same coaches meeting I just referred to, and we said, no. It has to be a no across the board. Uniforms have been ordered, and no, this is not the NIL. You can't get put on a team and then get asked to move to another one.
Transfer portal.
Yeah, it's not no, we're not putting them in the transfer portal. So that was a breath of fresh air to know that like these are the rules and we're actually sticking to them. But
that makes it easier for coaches too, though. Like,
yeah,
I'm that coach that I always, every single season, and Jamaal, I'm sorry, obviously you listen to the show, sometimes I get off on a tangent, but
no, you're good.
Like, I'm that coach where a lot of kids put my name down. In every draft, I would be without one or two of the kids that, were going to swear up and down that they weren't going to play again unless they played for me. And I had to talk them off the ledge and, try to make it about the kid and not about the coach. But that does, Jen, it eliminates all the drama, and the coach can just say, look, we're not moving anything.
Yeah, we changed a couple of rules this year. You guys are not, Jamaal, you guys are not in rec anymore, right? You're totally travel.
So we didn't play rec this year.
Okay.
We're travel. But we are probably going back to rec because it'll be 11 through 13. So
gotcha.
and we're allowed to lead off and things like that. So the competition will be there. So that's what we were wanting. Because you get kids out there, like I said, that might not pay attention or getting hurt, things like that. So
So how do you guys do your like evaluations and your draft and stuff? So do you have freezes? Do you have seniority, I guess it's called, with between coaches and stuff?
No, so basically it is a open draft. We
Oh dang.
we go to our local middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Every kid that signed up in 9U, 9 and 10U, and every kid that signs up through 11 through 13, and they're out there showing us what they can do fielding, what they can do hitting, pitching, if they can catch pop-ups, how fast they run, things like that. So it is a full-blown tryout. And then the coaches come together at the end of it, and they select teams from there.
So no freezes.
No, and how we pick who gets to go first in the draft is random numbers out of a hat.
Yep, that's how we do that.
Do you know how many people around here would be so upset if that's how it happened? If they didn't get any freezes, we went from 5 freezes to 3 in the fall. Spring it was 5, 3 in the fall, and people were so upset about that. So
is that a foreign term
here's why.
to you, Jamaal?
Yeah, it is. So your freeze is basically you can keep up to 5 kids on a team that you had from last year,
including the coaches.
That you had to have coached. Yeah, you had to have coached them before.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
But you have to freeze your own kid. So,
gotcha. Gotcha.
But the problem that people ran into with there being 3 freezes is that like everybody wants to freeze a pitcher and a catcher because you need a pitcher at that age group. Like you really need to have a good pitcher and you really need to have a good catcher. Well, then if you have to freeze your own kid as well and they're not a pitcher or catcher, then there's your 3 freezes.
Yeah. So
people were a little upset about that.
Right. So how we do that, because obviously I've coached in rec, and so I got just my son. He would be my last pick of the draft. That's how they handle here. So if a coach has 3 kids, that's his last picks. So the
Okay.
last 3 picks, there it is. So it's sad because say they make you take your kid first round,
Right.
so now you're like, well, how's that
Yeah.
I like
fair?
that.
He's going to be with me regardless. So how's that fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we did. It's always the last pick of the draft.
That's interesting. That's funny though. Like the differences between. I would be curious too. So I mean, our league is totally a rec youth driven, a youth association. It's not actually little league. So
Right.
I'd be curious to know even how like an official little league would run it. So all right. You started off with Jaren. You guys started at 9U, right? Travel ball.
We started at 8. We played
Okay,
up.
8.
Yep. So we played up ever since we started traveling. And I got parents asking, why are you playing up for?
Mm-hmm.
I said, because when they get there to their actual age, they are going to be so more advanced and ready to go and know what's going on. And that's like what I sent you. So at 9, we won 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
We went to every tournament and it was like 2 and out. You go into single elimination tournament on Sunday, you play the 1 seed, you're gone.
Yep.
This year, they brought hardware home. They won 22 plus games. They knew what they were doing, and that's why I did it. Just to see where we're at, because you see these elite travel teams that we're playing against, and they are a whole new monster.
Mhm.
Yeah. It
They,
is.
I mean, and the best thing about us, like I don't even know if you technically call us a travel ball team because everybody is from Cambridge.
Okay.
So, we're not opening it up to 6 different counties or anything like that, having an open tryout,
Right.
but it's
Well,
just
that's
all these
cool.
kids from Cambridge. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah. So Jaren, what do you think was the big difference between the season that you won 4 games and then the season that you just finished and you won 22 games? What was the big difference?
Uh,
Breathe. It's okay.
uh,
Did your dad finally get smart and start telling you what you're supposed to do?
yeah.
He did. All right. See there, Jamaal, it's simple. We talk about it all the time. It's the coaches. I don't know what you were waiting on. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I think it was probably because you guys got the hang of things, right? And all the stuff that he was probably telling you when you were only winning 4 games, and keep your head up and things will get better. And, we got to practice hard. Sounds like you probably started doing some of that stuff in this past season. Would you think so?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's 2 you've given me now with 1-word answers. So I'm counting. All right. And however many you give me, we got to have push ups at the end. Okay. So if you
Ooh.
get 10, got to do 10 push ups. All right. Now, I think your dad's probably had you in the gym, probably working out a little bit. So I hope you can pump out, well, maybe we don't get past just 5. Let's see. All right. Well, so you guys, I mean, that's a whirlwind type of from going from, 4 wins to 22. What do you think, Jamaal? What
Yeah.
snapped? What do you think
It,
changed?
so, like I talked about earlier, is we start every practice with base running. So we did things uniform. We go base running. The kids knew what was next. We go straight into defensive practice, and then we'd always finish with hitting. Every kid loves to hit. So when they were 9, they were still kind of skittish, like, what's next? What are we doing next? So once I seen that, I basically wanted to set things up for them. Okay,
Right.
you warm up, and you do what you're supposed to, get that in, and then we went straight into base running. Then we went straight into fielding. Then we went straight into hitting, and that's how the practice was broke down. Now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, how we did it, it was when we broke down into defense, we did individual.
Okay.
So I'd have the outfielders. My other coach would have the infielders. We'd have a coach with pitchers and just working, just so they get the amount of time that they need to master their craft.
Yeah. They got to get reps. So that's pretty cool. Well, now going back, how long have you been a varsity baseball coach?
So I've been a varsity baseball coach for 11 years, been the head
Wow.
coach for 6.
Okay. You must have a pretty decent program there.
Yeah, so
It's
it's
okay.
all
You can brag. You can
yeah,
brag.
but
It's okay.
and I hate to, it just because my grandfather, he was the one that raised me, so he basically stay humble. So
Of
I am
course.
very humble when it
Well,
comes
be
to
proud.
situations like that. Yep. So I when I took over the baseball program, we were hovering around 500, below 500. And the last 3 years, we made it to the regionals 2 times out of 3, and had winning season. We've only lost 4 games the year before, and we lost 5 games this year.
Wow.
So it is coming full circle. But that's just a testament to the kids that I have. They bought into my system, and when you coach for your alma mater, it means something different. When you can give back to where you came from, that's all I wanted. And to the communities behind us, and we're actually a basketball town.
Okay.
And I had a guy from the community and said, Coach Lowry, you made this a baseball town. So when you hear stuff like that, it
Gives you
means a
cold
lot.
chills. Yeah.
So yeah, um we're getting there, but we want that state. So we were a game away from going to state this year, and then last year we were 2 games away. So we're sniffing it, but we want to go get it.
Okay. What's your returning class going to look like from this past
So
season?
yeah, so we graduated 5 seniors from this past season. Lost my ace. That was my starter for 4 years. And the crazy thing about that is my ace this year was 8-0 with a .65 ERA with a torn ACL. He got hurt in football. First game of the year, never got surgery. Played all baseball because he didn't want to miss his senior year of baseball because he had to in football. And basically through 8 wins, no losses, and a .65 ERA. All
Wow.
conference, all division, all OVAC, everything. So
Wow.
it was
Did he
impressive.
go on to play somewhere? Did he
So
get
he is
recruited?
he's getting his knee surgery next month, and then he'll decide from there. But there was offers.
Yeah.
Baseball or football?
Baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of those situations. Like, even if he had committed it as a freshman, they would still put that on hold just because that surgery is so major. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, when he's your 4-year starter, that kind of hurts to replace. But
yeah,
the guys that are underclassmen, they traveled with us to the regional,
mm-hmm.
so they got the
Taste.
sense, that feel it, to know how to get there. So that was big, and they can step up and play that role. So we got 2 freshmen that pitched for us in the regional final game and the district finals game. So
Okay.
they're back, and there's no bigger stages than that other than state.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So now, Jaren, does Dad yell at those high school boys a lot more than he yells at you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can take it. You got a
Absolutely.
sensitive little heart. I can see it.
I know.
Yes.
Hey, look, my son, you've probably heard me talk about him, but he's very much that way. He gets so hard on himself, and like he would probably clam up like completely if I brought him in here and put him on the mic. But he never stops talking. So, but I get it, man.
Yeah.
Jaren, what? I'm sorry. I was going to
No,
ask him what position he plays. I can't remember if we've already talked about that.
No.
I play outfield, pitcher, and second base.
And your favorite?
Second base.
Ooh, I wasn't
Which one did he
expecting that.
say?
Second base.
Second base. Okay.
Why is that? Why do you think you like second so much?
I did it in Myrtle Beach.
Uh-huh. How
Well,
was that experience for
yeah.
you? Have you done baseball youth before, or is this your first time?
It was my first time.
And how was that process? Because I just learned on this Myrtle Beach trip how baseball youth works. So if anybody's listening that doesn't really know, you have to go through a selection process and get chosen to be part of baseball youth, which is like prestigious. That's amazing that you're being selected to go, and then you're placed on a team, like Coach Aaron said earlier, you're placed on a team with kids that you probably don't know, a coach you probably don't know. And so how was that for you?
It was fun this year.
Yeah.
Did
So you
make a
do
lot of new
video
friends?
submissions, is that right?
Yep.
Video submissions. So Dad was saying, nope, do it again. Holding his phone up. Nope, do it again. Nope, do it again.
You almost got it that time. Come on, we just need you to
Right.
hold on to the ball.
But you made it. So you made it. And y'all made the drive, or did you fly?
Yeah, so we drove.
Hold on 1 sec. The mic sort of got really muffled there for a minute. Try it now.
Yeah, we drove 10 hours.
Woo! All right, Jaren, what'd you do for 10 hours, dude?
I played on my Nintendo Switch.
I don't blame you. I would have done the same thing. So 10 hours, that's a long time in the car.
Had you ever been to Myrtle Beach before?
No.
Oh. Did you get to go to the ocean?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
So no shark bites, no stingrays, no jellyfish, nothing like that? Came out with all your fingers? All right. Because Myrtle Beach, they got some sharks.
Sometimes, well, it's a little bit everywhere on this side of the coast, but Myrtle Beach, like we were down near Myrtle Beach this past summer, and I was definitely, and it's freaking Shark Week, the week that I'm down there, of course. So we're glued to the TV at night watching all these shark attacks, and here I go get in the ocean, and I'm like, all right, watch my back. I'm telling Jake, I'm like, look, dude, I can move out of this water faster than you, so you better be ready to run. But
like Jesus walking on water.
I know. So now with the high school kids, what are you seeing from a recruitment standpoint? Because you're seeing kids up through, as they're starting to go through the process and as they're starting to graduate.
Yeah. So it's there. I mean, there's some really good young talent that is coming up. And that's the thing. I try to get out and watch as many games as possible so people see my face, know who I am. And then the high school kids, getting the high school kids out there, because once they see the bigger kids out there supporting them, and most of my kids are umpires in Little League. So they're umping the games. So the kid will go up to them after the end of the game, like, oh my gosh, you're so-and-so, and you play second base for him. And when our guys see that, it means everything to them. So I'm excited for years to come. Like I said, I see a lot, so it's fun.
Well, you know what? You said earlier that someone said you've turned it into a baseball town. It sounds like you've created an environment that just breeds, like bringing the kids along the journey with the older kids. And I would love, and I hope that our athletic director is listening to this, Moxie. So if anybody knows him, give him a nudge. But like, this is a program that, like, it could only benefit your town, your community, is getting your older players, your high school players back involved into the youth. There's an umpire shortage that we keep hearing about. Like, that's a great time for those high school kids to get out there and deal with some adversity and get yelled at a little bit, know what it feels like. Right. But then also be able to interact with the kids. I think that's so free. That's why you got a baseball town, man. I totally
appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
I think we can probably incorporate that, especially in the spring, since that's more of the baseball and softball season. Because there's a youth night for football, there's a youth night for baseball. I'm not sure that there is one for softball. And now that Hannah is the head softball coach at Bowling Springs High School in our town, we might can put that together for the girls and start getting the high schoolers involved in some of the youth stuff, because she came up through this youth association. So bring it all back around.
Now that
and it is so tough too. Like spring sports because it's so quick.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like football. It's not like basketball.
Mhm.
You blank, baseball season's over high school wise.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's the hard part because you're playing anywhere from 7 games in 5 days. You know, so you're constantly rolling.
Yeah. Because once it starts, it don't stop.
It don't stop. It does not. I think I only had less than a month to myself before I started taking over. 3 weeks top. You just confirmed it.
Well,
Now,
so what was now? Go ahead, Jen, because you probably got
well,
something right in line with
well,
this.
I was just gonna ask if this is your full-time job, coaching.
So no. So I am in school suspension teacher at a career
Ooh,
center, and
okay.
so once I get off, I go straight baseball mode, and it don't stop until 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
I can hear that
Yeah.
now. You think Coach had a bad day today? Like I heard so and so was in there. He's going to be in a bad mood when he shows up today. I can just hear it now. Oh, I didn't even think to ask that. In school suspensions teacher. That's ISS, right?
Yes, sir.
ISS.
Yep.
Oh, what do you do that whole time you're sitting in there all day?
Man, it's insane. Sometimes I'll have anywhere from maybe 10 students in there because this career center is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can have anywhere from 3 to 4. So it's nothing crazy, but some of the kids coming up there are a handful. But it's fun.
Mhm.
That's why I like it. It's a challenge. You never know what you're gonna walk into.
Keep you on your toes.
Yep, and that's the way I want.
Hey,
You
Jaren.
ever get any thumbtacks on your seat? Any whoopee cushions?
Not yet. Not
Oh
yet.
my gosh. See, Jen, that's like your first like silly joke right there. There you go. I got to give you the oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Jaren, you had ISS yet?
Yeah, in school suspension.
No.
No, we're good. I'm good. I'm sure you would probably hear a little bit about that if you did. So, look, take it from me. Look, I never got detention, and I never got ISS. I was a good kid. You believe that, Jen? Not actually. The first 2 did. That's definitely true.
My son was in the vice principal's office this week.
What did he do?
It's the second week of school. He's not a bad kid. I'm just bringing that up. He apparently was loud on the bus. I don't know. Whatever.
And that gets him to the VP's office.
Yeah.
And we got
And a
some
call.
priorities.
Like they called me.
Did he have a megaphone?
That's what he was like.
Bus?
He was like, I wasn't even that loud. I'm like, I've seen you loud, but anyway.
That's good for him. That's good for him every once in a while. Thicken his skin up a little bit.
Scare him, yeah.
Yeah.
Scare the heck out of him. It's like going to what was that show where they took him to the prisons? Scared Straight?
Scared Straight, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you never see that, Aaron?
I don't think
Scared
I've
Straight?
heard of I have heard
Oh,
of it,
man.
but I've never watched it, no.
Check it out. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's some, kids that probably need some heart to heart and they go get scared straight, huh?
They go to the local, or I don't know if it's local, but the prison where it's like hardened criminals, and they like get in their face and they tell them what they've been through, and yeah, it's intense.
That'd be good for a lot of kids these days, I think. So. Sorry, and none of those people are listening to this right now, so don't get offended. So
yeah, no.
there's some kids out there that definitely need that heart-to-heart conversation. So, all right, Jaren, how did your season go, man? Did you hit pretty good? Did you do a lot of pitching? Tell us a little bit about your season.
I had fun this year. I did get a new bat in Myrtle Beach.
Awesome. What kind of bat did you get? Hold on. Let me guess. The Easton Hype.
That's my guess too. All right.
That is the hottest bat apparently out right now, like out of the wrapper. How did it do for you?
I hit my bat speed is like 53.
Okay.
Is that good? Is that good? I don't
For
know the
his
numbers.
age, yeah.
Is that good? Okay.
Yeah. That's swinging right there. Well, very cool, man. So do you like the bat?
Yeah.
Because I know Easton has to be just rolling right now because that bat, I'm gonna tell you, that bat is used everywhere. So it must be a good one. So have you had any home runs yet? Any dingers over the fence or inside the park?
No, I've been having like doubles and a couple triples.
Sweet. Hitting line drives?
Yeah.
Dude, that's all that matters. Keep hitting line drives and eventually they'll go over. So, but just don't be like, I never hit a home run. I say this all the time on the show, but like, I want to hear from you when you hit that first one. Like, we seriously going to get you back on the show when you do hit the first one over the fence because I want to know what it's like. So, I ask every single kid, like, what was that first home run like? Because I never felt that. So, now, Jamaal, you must have played some ball, right?
Yeah, I did. I went to Muscatine Community College out in Muscatine, Iowa. Won JUCO there.
Muscatine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, never heard of that one.
Yeah,
Me either.
we were the Cardinals. But it was fun. But high school, I played Legion baseball, I played high school ball, and all the way up through. I remember being in Little League, and they used to call me Big Poppy.
Nice.
Okay.
Because I hit a lot of home runs. I remember my most memorable home run was I shattered my coach's windshield. They always said don't park in the outfield, and
He earned it. Well, you earned it. He deserved it.
Yeah, I turned and burned on this one, and it was low and inside. That's a lefty string pitch. I just elevated, and I remember shattering his windshield.
Now, what did he say to you after you hit it? After
He just
knowing
said I
that you
wasn't
busted
more.
his windshield.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed getting no more big league chew.
Oh man, those were the days, wasn't they?
Yeah, I remember just getting slushies after the games, and you roll around watching your buddies play. You got Kool-Aid mustaches and just soaking it up.
I know. Like that was when Jaren, when I was growing up, like I played baseball when I was bored. Like, you know how like my son, when he gets bored, he wants to go play his Switch or he wants to go watch a TV show or play on his phone or something. And I'm like, dude, I didn't have any of those options. Like my best option was get out of the house and don't come back until it gets dark. Believe me, kids, that was true. That's not one of those folk tales. But we stayed at the baseball field. Like if my parents ever wanted to find me, they just had to drive down to the baseball field or the little sand lot that we used when we didn't want to walk that far. So it was those were the days.
It's funny you said get in the house before dark because we used to have a street light that was in front of the house. And once that street light went out, we better be inside the house or our grandpa's coming to look for you.
Yep, I remember because I stayed with my great grandmother a lot of the time as I got older, and I remember she had street lights on, and when that light come on, kids would start to scatter, and that was good stuff. That was good stuff. Now the guys that you grew up with, you're coaching those guys' kids, right?
Yeah, which is awesome. So three of the guys I graduated high school with are now on my travel ball team. Their kids are. So we had basically like full circle. Like everybody's coming full circle now, which is pretty sweet because we just sit there and we just reminisce about our little league days. So now we're watching it, coming full circle. So it's fun.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference between high school back in your day and high school today?
Oh man, a lot. It is because mental toughness.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's you can't say half the things that was said to you in high school because you would be jobless. So that's one thing that definitely changed. And I don't remember like parents ever talking to coaches like the way they do nowadays. So that's another thing that's changed a lot as well.
Well, I think like you just hit it like there, right there, like respect in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're abusing umpires. We're saying God knows what, hitting umpires, and we're teaching kids to disrespect someone in an authority position. And then you see that happen with parents and coaches.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like all now, let me ask you a question. What that first thing that you said, mental toughness, and because believe me, when I was growing up, my coaches I felt like were drill sergeants.
Right. I agree. I
Like,
agree.
I mean, I remember warming up for JV, and we were pulling tires. Like we had ropes through tires, and we had them around our waist, and that's how we got loosened up for practice. So we were pulling
Yeah.
tires all over, and if we stopped, that was another one for the team. So
Exactly.
it was hardcore.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, I try to bring that back is just be tough, because baseball's a game of failures anyways. And if you aren't mentally tough, it will own you, chew you up, spit you out a couple times.
Yeah.
So I just try to teach that. Just have the right mindset up there. You strike out the first one, so what? You get another AB. Go take advantage of that one. And if you're having a bad day at the plate, go make a play out in the field. You know, there are as many opportunities to be successful in the game, but you will fail more than you are successful.
Yeah. I think everybody just expects or feel like they're entitled to the spotlight.
Right.
And like you have to earn. Like I feel like that's where this generation that's coming up is so misguided, is the term you got to earn what you get. And like you got to put in some work.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
if people hand you something, they're only crippling you. I mean, they're not helping you anyway. So, oh my God, well, I could totally go off on that.
I can't. I could
Yeah.
too. Like I can't stand that. That's
Yeah.
the worst thing. You know, and I listen to, I don't know if Jamaal, you know who Alex Hormozy is, but I listen to his podcast all the time. And he says the exact same thing that Coach Aaron just said. Like, you're not entitled to anything. You get what you deserve what you get, whether that's good or bad. You deserve what you get because you either put the work in or you didn't. And you know, I've had, even in 6 and under softball, I've had parents yell at, I'm the coach during coach pitch, parents yelling at me or yelling at their kid that the play's at home. The play is not at home. And it's
Right.
like, you know, so I had to approach her in the middle of the game, and it's like, what are you teaching your kid? What are we doing here?
I had the
So
same thing
yeah,
happen last season. That I had a parent, I think their kid was playing the infield, and like they're yelling the same thing. The play is at home. The play is at home. Well, I didn't need to worry about that run coming home. Like I needed
right.
the out. And
Yeah.
so like I'm behind the catcher. I'm like throwing the ball back to the pitcher because we're in coach's pitch at the time. And like play happens. She's yelling, go home, go home, go home. And thankfully enough, like the kids actually didn't do what she was saying. But I did walk over to the mom and I said, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to be quiet. And she was like, what? That's where the play was. And I was like, no, ma'am, because we needed this, this, and this. And she was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She didn't understand strategy at all.
At the end of the day, you if you're on the sidelines, you made the decision not to coach. And you've got to trust and you've got to put a little faith in the coaches that your kids do have. And like I get it, and sometimes I understand there's a lot of bad coaches out there, but like let a coach do their job. Like when they have good intentions, trust them. Like, I mean, I'm sure you understand that. Do you deal with a lot of that kind of stuff at high school level?
That's an understatement. Yes, yes, I do.
Okay.
And you know, it is
Playing time.
Yes, and that's key. And Game Changer. Like I wish I would have never ever
my gosh.
downloaded Game Changer, because I've never seen so many people sit in the stands and watch Game Changer rather than watching their kid play, just to see how someone marked down a hit or if they gave them an error. Or, I mean, I'm probably going back old school and just handwrite everything in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that. I think in many ways we need to like go back to the the way we used to do things. I think that youth league in general would change for the better if we did. So we need to start that movement right now.
Yep,
Yeah.
there it is. You
Yeah,
heard it
I
here
mean,
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game changers wrong.
Yes.
Game changers wrong.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, like it's so crazy that I have never really experienced some of those issues at a game changer, but some of the nightmares and horror stories that I've heard about, like you're talking,
Yeah.
like, that's just silly. Like, really? Like,
Yeah, you're watching your phone to see how they scored it.
Yes.
Because they're 10 and they're getting recruited right now. Like, what
Right.
do you? I don't know.
Oh, you know,
I mean, it matters. Don't get me wrong. Like, it does matter because whoever puts it in really needs to be putting it in right. But you also need
Right.
to be educated yourself, because if it's a fielder's choice
Correct.
and your baby doesn't get a hit out of that, then you need to know that that's why. So
Yes.
it's just going to open a whole can of worms. I can see
Yeah,
that.
you just need to find
Yeah.
someone neutral to run game changer that has
Right.
no kids on the team.
And like I say, just know the game within the game. You
Right.
have to have that game knowledge, because if not, I mean, it's hard to explain it to somebody multiple times and they still have no idea.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
I think that's kind of sickening that you know parents would watch their phones before actually watching the kids. I mean,
yeah.
like at some point in time as a parent, like you're not teaching your kid at doing those type of things. You're not setting the right example to make the game fun. Like,
Right.
like we've already told you multiple times, like your kid, like he's not going to get a hit every time. He's not going to bat 500 as it gets harder. Like, and if he is recruited and he plays in the MLB, I can promise you'll never walk up to that coach and say anything about playing time. I can
Right.
promise
Oh
you.
no, he better
I
not.
promise you,
No.
when that scorekeeper
Yeah.
ruins your no hitter in the ninth inning because it gives the kid a hit or a hit instead of an error or whatever, like, hey, you know what? I'll tell you one thing that I am teaching Jace right now in football is if the ump don't see it, it didn't happen, or if the umpire don't see it, it didn't happen. Because
Right.
we were in, and this is a tangent, but like I'm like, don't you ever turn around and look at the referee and say I was being held or anything. Like,
Or like,
when you walk on
throw
this
your hands
field,
up. Yeah.
you respect your coach and you respect that official. And if he didn't see it, it didn't happen. So anyway, dude, we could keep on going on and on, man.
Oh,
This
yeah.
has been super, super fun. So Jaren, you got any last words for us? You've been a man of a lot of words tonight. So I'm gonna give you a chance to close this out here. You got any questions for us?
No.
Okay. All right.
Well, I feel like your dad's a celebrity. I'm sorry we talked to him a whole lot, but he knows his stuff. So
Did he
keep
do
listening
okay?
to him.
Do you think he did okay, Jaren?
Yeah.
I think so. I think he did. I think both of you, just knock out about 10 push-ups tonight or something, and you guys will be all right, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much for hopping on with us. We could continue talking. So this has been so fun. I love an interview where there's just, I got so many questions that don't have enough time. So Jen's used to that because I never shut up. So
No, we appreciate you having us. And like I said, just keep doing what you guys are doing. You got a fan in Ohio.
Awesome. Well, hey,
Thank you.
we're not going to let you two go without the last question that we always ask on the show. And Jaren, we're going to let you go first. All right. I bet you guys are prepared for this one. So Jaren, you're walking up to bat, bud. What's that walkout song?
Bring Sally up.
Okay. I didn't hear that one. What did he say?
Did you say Sally up?
Sally up?
Sally up, Sally down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a big Bryce Harper guy. So,
okay.
Yeah. So out to bring Sally up, and he is
I love that.
What is I'm confused.
You don't know it?
No. How's it go, Jen?
Bring Sally up, bring Sally down, bring Sally up. Yeah.
I think I've heard that. That's not like a pop.
We used to do it.
It's an older song.
But it's probably been redone. We used to do it at 9 round when I went to 9 rounds, because you would do a squat every time they said bring Sally up, Bring Sally Down, and you end up doing like 70 by the end of the song because it's a long song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Aaron, you'll
good
have to
one. I
check
like
it out. It's by Moby Flower.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll check it out tonight. So, all right, Jamaal, what's yours?
When you call me Big Papa.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Man, I love look, that first album, Biggie.
Yep.
That to me, that I've had many arguments about my top 5, but that one I think everybody can agree that's in their top 5. So
Yes.
Born to Die.
It's yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites, and it'd be a good one.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So, all right, guys, Jaren, we're gonna close it out, and we're gonna let you end this, okay? All right, so I'm gonna wrap everything up, and then I'm gonna say until next time, and then I want you to say, "We'll catch you on the slide," okay? You got to do it loud with like a mean voice too, okay? I want to hear like that energy you bring to the baseball field. So, all right, thank you guys so much for listening. Again, we're a youth baseball podcast, so we're talking to kids, parents, coaches. If you got a superstar out there, please send them our way. We'd love to hear their story and hear about their love of the game. So, thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, Jaren.
I'll catch you on the slide.
There you go.